Good evening. It is such a treat to stand before you all at another sold-out Equality Illinois Gala. When I look out at this powerful, colorful, brave, and compassionate crowd, my heart swells. It is like being in the middle of J.D. Vance's biggest anxiety nightmare. Seeing so many queer people in one place would be enough to send him running for the comfort of his couch. As we do each year, let me start by asking you tonight for a moment of your silence to honor those whom we have lost. For our trans and gender nonconforming friends who have been murdered, to those we have lost to suicide, to those we have lost to disasters, natural and man-made. As we celebrate our joy and our victories tonight, please join me in holding space for those who are no longer with us in a moment of silence and reflection. May their memories be a blessing. My brothers, my sisters, my siblings, let me cut right to the chase. I know you are angry, and I am angry too. I know you are heartbroken. I am heartbroken too. And I know you are scared, and I am scared too. But before I talk about the vortex of villainy we are caught up in, let me remind us who we are. Because we come from people who gathered in bars and living rooms in a society that sought to jail us. We come from people who brought together 5,000 protesters to shut down Anita Bryant when she dared to come to town trying to get us fired from our jobs. We come from people who staged die-ins in the street when we were suffering from a plague and the government practically broke its neck trying to look away. We came from people who marched on Springfield until they protected our rights and acknowledged the equal dignity of our families. And perhaps most of all, we come from people who protest and act out our courage every day. We are the people who came out to our parents with trembling voices and a brave heart. We are the people who put up the picture of our family on our office desk and dared our colleagues to treat us differently. We are the people who marched into that principal's office and told them exactly how the school would treat our trans child. You see, we have been here before. In many ways, big and small, we have been on our heels with our backs against the wall, and we fought back because we always fight back. We have everything we need in this moment because our ancestors have already shown us the way. Dan Savage reminds us that during the darkest days of the AIDS crisis, we buried our friends in the morning, we protested in the afternoon, and we danced all night. And it was the dance that kept us in the fight because it was the dance we were fighting for. Our joy in ourselves and in each other, in the face of those who want to shame us, is our superpower. And those who whip up cruelty to score cheap political points have nothing on us. Queer and trans folks have been here since the dawn of human civilization, and we will be here long after the reactionaries are buried and forgotten. but I won't sugarcoat it. Having the President of the United States sign executive orders tracking our trans siblings and our trans children over and over again is so damn frightening. He and his co-conspirators spent nearly $250 million in his campaign attacking trans people. So I want to be perfectly clear. He rode to power on the backs of trans folks. But he intends to use that power to come after many more communities, including immigrants, people of color, women, and people who can become president. Because if he become pregnant, who also should be president. If he can win turning the executive orders into law, everyone is at risk. It will mean the federal government can force its way into your child's doctor's office and veto your choices. Not just over their life-saving gender-affirming care, but also veto your choices over their vaccines or their birth control. It will empower schools to perform genital checks on any kid, not just openly trans kids, to determine whether they can play on a team. It will mean federal government officials all the way in Washington scanning your local school district's curriculum to confirm it matches their radical ideology. But here's the cold, hard truth. His power is limited. Very little in those executive orders changed anything in the moment. And I want to be crystal clear. Nothing in those orders changed Illinois law. For the most part, these orders were just press releases dressed up as lawmaking, just like he was a bankrupt billionaire dressing up as a fake billionaire on a reality show. But we see through him. You see, he could have tried to legislate these changes, but he knows he is hard-pressed to get the votes. And as Ezra Klein wrote, he is acting like a king because he is too weak to act like a president. So we are going to have to show this country what a farce this president is, just like we've done with all the charlatans who have come before him. So here is our charge. Everyone in this room, slow them down at every turn. If a school changes its curriculum or changes how it affirms queer students, we will remind them they are not only harming young people, they are likely breaking the law. If a hospital changes a person's medical treatment because of these orders, we will remind them they are not only failing in their duties, they are likely breaking the law. If a vigilante county clerk or restaurant owner or employer tries to come for us in the wake of these orders, we will let them know we won't stand for it because they are breaking the law. But the biggest threat I worry about is the tempering of our hopes and ambitions. The cleaving of our community into those worth protecting and those whose safety we are willing to sacrifice. There are well-meaning allies and even members of our own community who have told me that the world of November 4th should be our greatest aspiration. That world in which, yes, we could count on more consistent access to life-saving gender-affirming care and greater guarantees we would be affirmed in schools and workplaces, was also a world in which we were more likely to be sick, more challenged in finding health care, more likely to be low income, more likely to be victims of violence, more likely to be incarcerated. And that is the world some have told me should be our greatest hope for the next 4 years. It's time to just resist, they tell me. It's time that we acquiesce and let them determine our agenda. It's time for us to simply play defense. But I am here to remind all of us that the best playing defense will get you is a tie. Or put another way, we have not come this far to only come this far. In the early 2000s, when LGBTQ plus civil rights groups across the country were pushing for non-discrimination protections, some of those in power offered a deal. Protecting gays and lesbians might be okay, they said, but protecting trans folks was simply a step too far. So some groups took the deal, saying they could come back to help trans folks later. But I am so proud that Art Johnston and our predecessors at Equality Illinois did not take that deal. All or nothing, they said. And that is why the Illinois Human Rights Ordinance was amended in 2005 to protect all people in the LGBTQ plus community. So, this same spirit of fierce togetherness is what I ask of you now. Do not let them tell us how big we can dream. Do not let them tell us whom we should sacrifice. We can fight back against the attacks on our health care and at the same time demand that sex workers be protected. We can insist we remain fully included in the workplace and fight so that no adult engaged in consensual sex is locked up by the state. My siblings, we can't clean just our own section of the pool. Because if we accept that the state can punish anyone for engaging in adult consensual sex, everyone in this room is next. So I call upon your bravery and your joy and your queer magic to fight back and push forward. Don't let our fear in the moment or the tepid pushback from frightened allies define our hopes and dreams. Let's show Illinois and our country what can be accomplished when queer people lead. When we lock arms in full solidarity and push our state forward. I'll close out tonight with a thank you. As you all know, this is my last gala as CEO, as I intend to step down on June 30th. I began in this role 9 years ago, just 2 weeks after I married my husband, Toby. As the governor alluded to, I took over at a time when it appeared LGBTQ plus civil rights groups might not survive the post-marriage equality world. Donors were fleeing and groups across the country were closing down. I even had a Chicago reporter tell me I shouldn't have taken the job because the Queens had it pretty good. But I took the job because I know if we are not building power, we are losing power. Our rights are not guaranteed in perpetuity, but only guaranteed if we continue to demand them. And in the past 9 years, Equality Illinois has grown into a robust civil rights organization fighting on many fronts. And we have done this because of the amazing team of Mike Ziri, Ardina Hoffman, Miles Brady Davis, Cheche Wilson, Norma Celadone, and the incomparable Moni Ruiz Velasco. We have done this because of our amazing board and our tremendous partners, and we have done this because of the support of each of you in this room. You and the 500,000 LGBTQ+ Illinoisans gave me the opportunity to fight every day, not just for you, but also for my husband and my daughter. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. With deep love and a heart bursting with pride, thank you. May peace, grace, and joy be yours in abundance.